This is iRacing.
This is a circuit that has seen it all, that has done it all, that the memories that could be written around this place would be one of the best sellers out there in the world. This is a car that has seen it all, that has had some amazing racing and has said, look, this is a car that should be in the annals of history. Welcome home, ladies and gentlemen, to Racing Action here at the home of Formula Racing at Silverstone for this 11th round of your classic Lotus Sunday Grand Prix series. My name's Shakespeare. Alongside with me for today's running is Craig King, as Christian Deploy sits in the director's chair using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But championships are one thing, a circuit that tells a story that very few circuits have the luxury of doing. This is an all-time great circuit with an all-time great feel. And here is an all-time track guide to give you a sense of what the pace level's going to be today.
Welcome to Silverstone. Most famously known for being the first circuit to host a round of Formula One, this place has since become synonymous with British motorsports. Hosting everything from sports cars to touring cars to open wheels and even motorcycles, it's a track that fits a wide variety of vehicles. With 3 different layouts to choose from, you've got a little something for any level of racing. The longest of those layouts boasts 18 turns along 3.19 miles. That comes out to 5.13 kilometers in metrics, so it can take a bit to get around it, even in higher-powered machinery. Its main characteristics are the high-speed straights and corners and general lack of elevation change. Its most famous set of turns is most definitely the Maggots-Beckett sequence, in which anything with high downforce finds itself challenged with the rapid changes of direction. However, don't discount the first couple corners in this latest iteration of the track. Abbey and Farm often require a greatly balanced car and some serious bravery if you're side by side. Corners such as Village, Brooklyn, Stowe, and Vale see the majority of overtaking action, but in cars with less horsepower, expect the draft to offer other opportunities. The Hangar Straight is perhaps the most notorious for draft battles to erupt. All in all, this versatile racetrack located just northwest of London provides both history in its roots and action on the tarmac. The huge number of British fans that typically attend events are seldom left wanting.
A circuit that has seen it all and has every corner pretty much in its name book as one of the best corners in the world. It's one of these tracks that you don't just build out there, you have to adapt to what was already there. And this is a circuit that has seen many an adaptation over the years, and this current variant out there, these 18 turns, these 5.89 kilometers here, Craig, make for a very tough battleground.
Yeah, it's not the track layout that many people like to do. They like to use the classic. That would probably be around when these cars were here, but it's still got its nice history around here nowadays, and a lot of magic can be happening. You've still got cops that can produce some fantastic moments out there. We saw something in F1, but you just got to make sure that you have your downforce sorted. And this is surprising nowadays. It's a momentum track. You have to keep the momentum up through the corners, because it used to be a place full of medium and high-speed corners. Well, they started to introduce the slower corners now, that new part through the loop, through Abbey and down into the New Brooklands and Luffield, and of course Vale Chicane into Club. A lot of slow speed corners here, which they're not used to back in the day. So mechanical grip's going to be very important, and keeping that downforce is also going to be important on a track where cars are going to slide about quite a bit.
They are, and so that ability to keep the car planted as much as possible is going to be the maker or the breaker here in the racing action that we have. And we talk about this being a circuit that gives so much out there. It's normally a mid-round championship circuit out there. Here at the later stages, well, it's all about second, third, and fourth, because Aldris Valenteas has confirmed his title over Jack David Spickett, James Barry, and Zach Leon Hardy, as they will look to scrap for the places on the podium. It then sits with Ross Banfield and Gabri Martinez in fifth and sixth, with Kartik Pai 7th and Mickey Friesen in 8th. Your top 10 rounds itself out with Cal Young and Hans Sommer, which leads over to the F2 championship standings, Craig, which I think are also a done deal.
Well, near enough. Diego Mastretta with a huge 76-point lead. The only way Craig Sandlin is going to win is if he actually wins first place, and he's not in the top split, which means he'd have to do an average time faster than what the winners of this top split would do, which isn't really possible. So Diego's just got to get a point score, and that should be the championship. Josh Cordell could possibly cause an upset there to get the last spot, or to get the second spot on the podium from Craig Sandin. Barry Summers right there as well, battling with Barry West. Jesse Brannon as well, right behind them. So they're going to have a nice little scrap at the end. Keith Herner will be 7th, right behind Remy Villeneuve in 8th. Miguel Morland will be in 9th. Alex Rask just there on the end of the top 10, just a few points behind. But there is also that all-important teams championship that the drivers love to run.
Yeah, and select drivers will elect to put a team together for it. At the moment, it is Jib Racing ahead of Keep Renault Elf there with 23 points between the team of Summers and Taylor, and West and Moreland, with the Vorsteiner Arrows Racing team currently 3rd, and Fittipaldi Automotive Kapersicar in 4th. It then is Scuderia Ferrari in 5th ahead of Northern Winter Racing, as you got TVR Racing 7th, Ligier Gitanes now up into 8th ahead of Candy Team Tyrrell and ATS Wheels. That makes up the 10 as far as they set out. But first time here, don't quite know what we're racing for, how long we've got to go, Craig. A little understanding about today's action.
Well, round 11, we're at the business end, and it's 20 laps out there today around Silverstone. It's an open setup, so use the iRacing baseline. A setup you made yourself or one provided by the community, but if you crash, your day is done. There is no spare car for these drivers, not like the old days when there was a T-car drive-through at 17 incident points, disqualification at 25. I always like to guess, will we, won't we? A lot of places you can make some cuts around here, Jake. 17, if you're a bit too aggressive, it is possible.
It is, and it's a circuit where I think you try and push the margins a little bit more than maybe what some can do. Foggy conditions out there at the moment as they look to set, as qualifying currently has a threat of rain in the next half an hour, but no real understanding of it on the radar. So I think they might have got away with it here today, that they are not going to be seeing that rain in its full form. James Barry currently the quickest out there of the drivers who have set a time. A 1:44.8 has done the job for the moment, with Hans Sommer in second position. He pushes out then of Luffield Corner and over towards the old turn 1 around this place of Cops.
Into Cops he goes. Tries to hold the throttle. Just a little bit of a tap of the brakes there. Don't want to run too far off on that runoff there. And now high speed through Maggots, and then Beckett's is the right-hander. Now you look for the braking just before the crest of the hill as you come down into the Chapel curve. You can run some of that curve as much as you want and use some of this exit as you head to what was always the Hangar Straight, the iconic straight on this track. Go ready to go up the hill as Jack David Spickett just goes into P2. Still can't find the time on James Barry as he goes over. Where's your line? Where's your throttle as you come down to the final part of the track?
Yeah, and with this section here into this club section here, these two right-handers, it squares off very quickly, but you can't immediately stop the turning because you've got to get into position for that next stage. And James Barry improves further to a 1:44.7, so getting even quicker as the times come in. The likes then of Dylan Freckleton moves up into the top 5. Kartik Pai now down in 8th behind Adam Williams, and with a 45.4, a lot better from the veteran, up to 4th.
Oh, here's Andrew Petty. as he's coming round to do his last time. Did have good qualifying in the warm-up race earlier. Can he actually get a lap this time? He does indeed. Not where he wants to be, but it's going to be better for him. Here's Zach Leon Hardy. He came second in the warm-up race earlier today. He actually got beaten by James Barry. Can they rekindle what they did 2 hours ago? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Just taking too much of that curve into the Vale chicane and down now into Club. To the Lewis Hamilton straight he will go. Not using a lot of the runoff, but a 45-1 is strong. It's just enough to be on the front row.
Yep, so Zach Leon Hardy will say, I'm happy with it, but happy being 4/10 behind. I think James Barry's picked up the level here and will be very much looking around and going, yes, I am very much in position. But Jack David Spickett could have a chance to improve further and move past a 45-1. So here comes the shot over the line, and it won't count. So Jack David Spickett can't do anything to go and improve. We're down to a minute left in qualifying, and here's the My Neighbor Totoro machine of Josephine Becker. She's got to really hurry now, Craig, here through Maggots and Beckett's.
I think she's going to be all right just, and she didn't have the best of races as well last time out, so she's going to look to try and make some revenge. A little bit slower there, probably a slow in, fast out type thing compared to what we saw with Barry, Leon Hardy, and Spickett is going to try and keep those throttles up. And what's going to be interesting as well, because of these temperatures, because of these possible track conditions, a lot of drivers with different sets of downforce, and that's why might be an off track there for Josephine. She's going to complete this though with 25 seconds to go. She won't. Yeah, as I was just saying there, Jake, a lot of drivers with varying types of downforce. Going to be interesting when we come to Wellington and the Hangar Straights.
Yes, so it's going to be a battle of who's got the best downforce settings out there and who is going to be in a position to use them over the course of the running. So I don't think this is going to be as simple as one driver is going to just pull away because they are on top compared to everyone else, no matter what qualifying says. I think it's going to be a little bit tougher than that. Let's take a look, though, down your starting grid, for this is how everyone will stack here around this circuit of Silverstone. James Barry will have Zach Leon Hardy for company as Jack David Spickett starts third, and Ross Banfield will go from fourth position. It's then Dennis Kiriakopoulos, who is the teammate of James Barry, in fifth, and Kartik Pai in sixth position as Hans Sommer and Dylan Freckleton are seventh and eighth. Mikael Sabala starts ninth, and a super formula specialist in Benjamin David will round out your top 10.
Super Formulas and Radicals coming to one of the best series as well. The Lotus 79s joining Josephine Becker, who will be in 11th, and M. Riero will be in 12th. Andy G. Williams will be the unlucky 13th today with Miguel Ferracho in 14th. Mickey Friesen will be 15th alongside Andrew Petty. They've had some good battles the last few weeks. Josh Brain will be 17th and Martin Reisman 18th. Ilka Cotasalo 19th and Pablo Paninia will be your 20th.
Yep, so with Pablo Paniagua there in that 20th position, you've got Carlos Lopez and Vincent Clovis there in the 22nd position. So Clovis will be looking to try and jump up. And the three that didn't set times, Jason Clapper, Carlos Peralta, and Barry West makes up the 25 that are set there and ready. They will look along the field. Drivers like Miguel Facado, for example, Adam Williams, we don't see too often out there going and racing, but they're wanting to make a challenge of things here today. You look around, though, it is a select group. It's a who's who at the front, with the exception of Aldris Valenterius being here, so not really much more that can be done, and it is expected that the rain is going to miss here for today's running, so everybody now knows that they are in for a dry attempt of 20 laps out there. Just waiting on Pablo Paniagua to hit the grid, and will have the 2 minutes to do so, which will turn to 5 seconds at this point, and does now make his grid. So we're set, we're ready. Get 20 laps in on the books. Lights on here from Silverstone. The lights, then long time waiting, are out, and we're underway. James Barry slow on the reaction then as they get going. Zach Leon Hardy just robs him for his lunch money as they work into Abbey, and sweeping around through as well is Kiriakopoulos, who moves himself by Ross Banfield. Sommer sees Freckleton and Pai side by side. Leon Hardy with the clearance into this section. Wide goes Banfield, and it forces 3 wide. There's a spin in the back.
Been in the back, and I think Mickey Friesen just got caught out there trying to just find some space, and then out of nowhere, I believe that was the number 12. It was indeed. That was the number 12 car just getting caught out of Ferraccio, as we were talking about. Leader's going to be coming down to the start, to the straight right now. Tyres still needing to warm up a little bit here, so not the best to start. Martin Reisman is up 6 places already. Kartik Pike's down 1 because he's just allowed Josephine Becker to go up 5 places to start this race.
Yeah, Josephine's had a really good start, and I think this has been one where some will get a good start and others won't. Mikel Thabala then just gets ahead of Dylan Freckleton, and there's not a very happy Ross Banfield out there, of course, has dropped miles back off of the get-go. Now they work to Maggots here, the left, and go through the right. Then the left of Beck as they run through the right, then follows a Beckett, and then Chappell, which is the small flick left that ends its way on out. Jack David Spickett there in third, trying to figure out a way through, but James Barry will have his teammate for company, and look at the way they sweep across the straight. Kyriakopoulos now wanting to move to third, but Jack takes a big old wide line, pushing there through Stowe.
Yeah, I think Jack's running a bit more downforce. I think he was mentioning it earlier on to me, just before they were getting ready for the race, that some of these drivers that I was saying with different downforce, he's a man that definitely was looking at a little bit of different downforce here, probably a bit more wing on that. Dylan Freckleton's into the pit. I think he's just trying to get some damage repaired, or may have just decided he forgot to put the fuel into the car as we're watching Dennis looking on. And this is not where Jack wants to be right now, because he's in, let's just be real here, Jake. I don't like branding on this. He's in a radical sandwich right now. And I don't mean that in the 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles way. He's literally in between 2 of the top radical drivers on Sim.
Yeah, and when you're stuck in that position, you're going to have to find a way to go and deal with a driver who knows, more than anything else, how to place a car better than anyone else. And James Barry is going to be a very tough customer to go and deal with. Sommer then in 5th position watches on, but Leon Hardy currently with that half a second margin will be looking at this going, well, go on, battle a bit more. I want my opportunity to break away.
Yeah, and he hasn't had that chance all season, apart from Adelaide. Every time he's managed to lead a race, he's always had the pressure put on him. And there's going to be different pressure this time. He's used to seeing Valenteas in his rear mirror when he's in the lead. Well, today it's James Barry, and it might be Jack David Spickett, but he's going to have to just keep looking forward because he knows they're going to be battling. Here comes the straight, down the hangar straight here, and you can see that Jack isn't catching up to James. Not the downforce here that James has. Jack's going to go a little bit more. And look at the slide there. Even though he's got more downforce, the mechanical grip just allows him to just slide a little bit more. It's going to be tough to find an overtake, and especially if he hits a sausage curve like that.
Yeah, that sausage curb's not going to help Dennis Kyriakopoulos there. You can attack corners in as you try and get it sorted, but the way that Jack then had to bounce across it, Kyriakopoulos couldn't find a line and very nearly had a way to jump on up and gain the next position. So that would show you all you need to know. You got Ross Banfield down in the pits, and so too Mickey Friesen. So they've been caught out on the early laps. Let's take, though, your first GSRC replay of the day. This was Mickey Friesen outside of 3-1. The only way I can describe that for Mickey is he's got to commit to the turn at some point, but on lap 1, you can expect everybody to be some form of many wide.
He was putting his car, yes, on the racing line, but also trying to just keep the car clean. Well, you can keep the car clean, but this isn't GT World Challenge. It isn't Monza Turn 1. But it feels like it. So those cars are still going to be fighting for the same spot on the road. And it was just a Newton's cradle moment there. Apart from he didn't decide to go back onto the track. He just flew straight off there. So those drivers might want to get that cradle looked at. But unfortunately for Friesen, he is in the pits. He is getting damage repaired. So is Ross Banfield. Dylan Freckleton's back out after that. Carlos Lopez has retired. So that one incident taking out 3 drivers already.
So 3 drivers out of the race, and already you're starting to see the struggles that will now befall many out there. Barry holding his ground nicely here in second, but he's giving Zach Leon Hardy something to think about. He's slightly closer than he was last lap. A 1/10 of a second's margin is that difference at this point. But with 1, 2, 3, and 4 there, in comes Dennis Kyriakopoulos. What? Has Dennis now put the wrong fuel in?
Let's look at what that is, because I think both of us have just got confused. I was looking at the relative and thinking, hang on, this is him going for a move, or he's had a moment out there. No, he just went full speed past everybody into the pits. Now, there's no penalty. This has to be a fuel moment here. Watch him get up onto the jack. You can't do any wing changes here. He's going to go onto the jack. He's not had any damage. This is fuel. That is a huge mistake there. That's a lot of time he's going to have to try and recover.
And not only that, it's the iRacing, it's the safety rating, and oops, I forgot to put my race set on, is one of the cardinal sins out there at this point. So it now means Jack David Spickett has been given the license to go and attack James Barry out there for position. I think he'll be quite pleased about that as they push through Woodcote Corner and over towards Copse. So I would mark this down as the moments where you start thinking, okay, where am I going to get this run? How am I going to find this run? And is that car in front of Zach Leon Hardy helping or hindering?
I think that's going to be helping very shortly. But, of course, the car in front, Leon Hardy, 17 seconds, is a lap car. Barry's got half a second. And I don't think that's going to be helping. Look at the Serpentine behind them, though, as Hans Sommer's trying to hold off Josephine Becker and Kartik Pai up behind. These three starting to drive on. And if we do have the pit lane time, just in case. But, yeah, Dennis has come back out. Very short pit stop there, but it's a long pit lane in here. They call it the shortest pit lane at all. But there it is, 59 seconds, cone to cone. Just goes to show what you have to do. Shout out, Jake, as we look to these drivers going at the moment. Barry West up 10. Carlos Peralta up 11th. Andrew Petty is up 8 as well. So some drivers really capitalizing on the start of that race.
Oh, yeah, it was an important start to the way that this race was needed for many who have jumped up, as Petty now looks to try and get side by side with the likes there. Benjamin David, there's contact through the corner. They have to slide through the middle. David just about 40 it back. Now Andrew Petty comes back up the inside and says, look, that's how simply I can go and get a pass done. And suddenly, here is Mikel Thabala, who wants to put himself into play. He wants to get himself into the picture right now, and at the moment I think that is a car that is very ready for moves. I'd say he's ready to make the pass with how much pan is on the side.
Well, you need more pan when it comes to the racing out there, and this is the problem. You make that mistake, you come down the Wellington straight, you lose a position, but you open up the opportunity to somebody else, and Michal Zavala is going to take that. And it is technically around the outside of Copse there, but he just gets going and gets it free. A quick replay coming up at the moment here. I believe this is what happened to Adam Williams at the start. This is what happened when they were all going to the start and just going around. And that's not the first time I've seen that today. 2 of them goes around. Hold the brakes, though, and then everybody make a reaction. Someone does a complete 360 there in the background.
Yeah, that was the moment that I think was the, oh, come on, I can't believe we've done that moment out there. It's Mikel Thabala representing Niue out there as its own flag and nation represented. You get a lot of different islands and territories that are represented in iRacing, and Niue, I guess, is one of the newer ones.
Yeah, okay, here comes Barry West, and I mean, Barry West here, he's looking very fitting right behind as he's probably getting ready for a race around Silverstone in his picture there right behind him. And here he is on racing. Can't see a shifter today, but he did say last week he got the Lotus shifter out. And again, I like saying it, and this is why I always like seeing Barry. It's the immersion factor some drivers like. He doesn't even race with a virtual mirror. Now, for those that race in iRacing, knows how important that is. So for him to be on VR, the only way he knows what's around him is actually using those mirrors on the car. And if you actually see what's on those mirrors in the car, or how you can see when you look at a roll bar, they're very small mirrors. You don't see a lot in those.
No, it's very much out there, Craig. The equivalent is you take a look of it right now. Imagine, a woman's hand mirror, basically, that they can fit into their makeup bag. That's the sort of that's the level of mirror you can see out of here on a car that's going upwards of 260, 270 kilometers an hour on a straight.
I was going to go with the mirror on the Apollo 13. that they had to use to see that they were venting oxygen out of the chamber. That's the only way they could see. They had a small mirror that was actually bigger than that one. And even then, that was a very tiny mirror out there, as we've got drivers battling who will probably be hoping they don't need to worry too much on their mirrors, and they're just looking forward as Carlos Peralta trying to make it overtake number 12 today on Martin Reisman. Just holding on. I've not seen what the differences are, but another thing we like to see is the drivers using retro liveries out there, and Carlos, he wants to have 7 up today, and I do wonder if he's going to add some more to that.
Well, Carlos Peralta will be looking around at it. Martin Reisman will be the next one he'll have to jump, but this is where the race gets interesting with Spickett, Barry, and Leon Hardy. These top 3, they have not moved a muscle between each other. They've not even shown a nose here at Silverstone, but critically, JDS is the one on the back, just trying to bide his time and forcing different lines to be taken, because you can't take the big diamond line out here going through the long right there of Luffield Corner if you're not careful. Peralta up on the top side of your screen, lunges down the inside of Martin Reisman. That's another one for the old, I would say, Jordan colours out there. 7 up and more. Well, he's more than 7 up. He's 10 up now with the 12 up with that one as they go through. He could get 2 7-ups for that.
Oh, to tell you what, I'll take one of those off him. I could do with a nice refreshing drink in this hot weather that we've had. And Jack, this is the problem right now, is I just don't think that Jack's got the ability. As well, somebody has had a moment out there as well as Josh Bryn goes on. It's Jason Clapper, who's unfortunately found himself in the gravel and into the barriers at Stowe. And that's unfortunate. He had a contact with Williams, and not the Williams that you would like to see. I think Williams won around here a few years ago, but this is the problem. Jack's got too much downforce, and I think this is just a case of I'm looking for stability. I'm looking to keep the tires cool, because it isn't a hot track, Jake. You can still overheat these tires. As we go to a replay, here's what happened to Jason Clapper, and I wonder if it's just going to be a move by Williams, and that's one of those where you have to hope that the drivers are turning at the right time and using all the track. That's the equivalent of a racing incident to me.
Yeah, it's tough because you got to leave that space, and you got to be allowing for a car to attack down the inside if you're going that wide. And Adam basically just turns in, hopes that it's still going to be there. He was in the middle of the road. I'd argue there that was maybe more onto Jason Clapper, but racing incident certainly could be a way that could be declared for that. So JDS sitting then in 3rd position will take a little look at this and go, well, I don't want the same as that. Here into Copse Corner, already on to lap 8, so these laps are flying by quickly. James Barry pushes a little bit wide coming out of Copse, but it doesn't do anything too untoward out there. I would be looking at this thinking, I probably want to be second sometime in the next 5 laps.
Yeah, I think he needs to be on the attack, but if he's running more wing to Barry, he's going to actually have to look at some of those moves we were just talking about. Let's not do it. You know, he's going to have to see, maybe I look to put my nose in coming through Luffield. Maybe I look to be that aggressor that caused Mickey Friesen to crash out and go for something at Village. I'm not going to get it coming into Stowe. I'm not going to get it coming into Brooklyn because I don't have that top speed. I'm going to have to do a speed trap in a minute just to see the difference, because Jack's probably only just matching Barry when it comes to the wing, maybe about 5 kilometers faster. That's not enough to catch up.
No, and so 5Ks on a straight, you're thinking about it, and okay, if you're doing an hour, you're going to be 1 lap down the road, but you're going to have to realize you don't have an hour, you have about 10 seconds to try and get yourself around, if that, on a lap like this. So I think you need at least 10 kilometers an hour to go and get that difference, and Zach Leon Hardy plays this very, very well from the front. They're not close enough, and they're not making it happen. Now the rise and rise here of Carlos Peralta continues, because Ilka Cotasalo now is going to be sitting in the position and going, yeah, there's another pass that gets itself done.
And Peralta's now got himself a baker's dozen of overtakes here today, up 13 to 11th, as I think Adam Williams, had to get some repairs after that moment into Stowe. Now it's interesting because look how close Barry gets. He's putting a little bit of pressure on Leon Hardy here, and I do wonder what would happen if Barry didn't have Leon Hardy to help him. Well, we're going to try and see it right now. 265, I think, there for Jack. And I think when Barry got to the very end, it's 268. Now, remember, Jack technically gets a double toe there, and he's 3 kilometers out, 3K slower than James Barry.
Well, that indicates to me there is a lot of downforce on right now for Jack David Spickett. And here is the caveat we talk about in terms of racing. If you want a car to qualify well, you put the downforce on. If you want a car to race well, you have to take the downforce off. And that's the key. Oh, he almost runs straight into the back, does James Barry there, of Zach Leon Hardy. He had so much better acceleration coming out of Village.
Yeah, he found something there, and I know that he has a little bit of experience around here because I know the Radicals went to Silverstone a couple of weeks ago, so he knows what he's looking for. Jack David Spickett, JDS, looking to try and do something as he's trying to just set himself up, not around the outside of Brooklands into Luffield, but he was just trying to get that line in. And is he just trying to put the pressure on James Barry? He is indeed, but James isn't worried too much about what's behind him right now. He's looking to try and go attacking there. And we talk about the top speeds. I don't need to look at Leon Hardy's top speed compared to what Barry's doing. I know at top speed, Barry was 268K, but I do wonder if he's just better on the brakes here, and is that a brake bias moment? I'm not sure, but I do know drivers were talking about the temperatures, so tires will start to be a little bit warm, a little bit painful out there, and drivers will be making some brake bias differences during the end of this race.
Yeah, if they get a bit toasty, they're going to have to move the balance back, which will give them a bit of difference compared to where they are at the beginning. So you can be aggressive in some ways, but in other ways you can't. Josephine Becker for fourth to get this one on Hans Sommer. A battle of two Germans going at it here, but Josephine, she can't quite find the angle there. Hans Sommer with better launch through, and the more they scrap here between each other, here's Kartik Pai and Andrew Petty. They're going to want to get themselves in the party.
Do you know, it's great to see Kartik Pai battling like he has been. He hasn't had the best seasons the last couple of seasons by. It's great to see him back up here trying to go for a top 5. Becca right as well, just trying to put the pressure on. She's trying to just have some redemption. She's not had the best of runs this weekend, and looking to see how much she can attack. Petty has already done a lot of attacking. He's at 9 overtakes for the day. And, well, I know earlier today in the warm-up race, he made 11 after a certain man in a former shed decided that he would just pay him a visit while he was streaming. But, well, that's happening. Carlos Peralta, unfortunately, has had a moment out there. And, well, he was at a baker's dozen. He lost it on his own at the loop. And a loop around causes him 3 positions.
Well, he's done very well to keep it away from anybody else, but ultimately, that's just a shame in terms of the race, and it goes, and look at how aggressive these two packs are. Becker following Sommer. There goes Andrew Petty. Now he's looking for the drive over towards Maggot's corner to try and get this done. No, not going to find this one here is Andrew, and I think he realises here Kartik Pai is having a very nice race out there, and he is proving a tough customer to go and get around. So can he find a way? Pulls himself into the toe once more, going over 265 kilometers an hour. Pulls out to the inside, in through Stowe. He can just pin it through the corner better. That's just the most, I would say, gut-wrenching feeling you can sit with.
And to be fair, Pai was taking the conventional racing line there into Stowe. Maybe a little bit of a late apex compared to what he wanted to do, and Petty wanted to just be attacking. He had the overspeed. Wasn't a lot of overspeed, but he's really working it. I think Kartik just probably using the same downforce that Petty's using, so that allows Petty to get that advantage. Because remember, we were talking about the leaders, and we were talking how they were all on different sorts of wing settings, that there's not a lot of difference around here, and they are slowly catching Becker and Sommer. But I think if they keep doing that, well, Petty wants to catch up to them, and Petty would love to, but he can't find a way around high, where does he look for it? He can't look for it here. He's just going to have to wait once again to the hanger straight. Becca, I feel, has more confidence to make it a move wherever she feels like she wants to make a move.
Well, here's talking of moves. Jack David Spickett thinking about it again at Cops, covered off by James Barry. And look at what it means for Zach Leon Hardy. This is 0.6 of a second. It's nearly 0.7 of a second. It's the difference between you're there and you're not. And again, that difference is James Barry can just absolutely leap his way through these corners and give himself a chance to run away. Jack will get a better run on the straight, but here's the issue. You try and play that matching game of top-end speed. James Barry, he again has the line covered. Story of the race.
Well, let's play top trumps. My Jack David Spickett has a top speed there of 2.67. Well, your James Barry's got a top speed of 2.68. Not a lot they could do, and Petty's looking to make some moves out there, and he's trying. And I was saying he's looking for that through the hanger straight. He tried it again, and he just could not make it, Jack David Spickett. Again, flirting. And I don't think that's him trying to attack there, Jake. I think that's him taking a normal line and saying to James, try it. Compromise your line. I'm just going to pick up the paces after the corner.
After this corner, you think, right, how good's the exit? How are you going to get Andrew Petty to the inside now? Can he finally get it done on Kartik Pai? Looking for a big up and under here. Out then through turn 4 of the outer loop. Now looking here towards Adrian. There is the overspeed. Now can you pull out then? Over along the Wellington straight. Andrew gets to the inside and commands the apex and says, that's how you make a pass here at Silverstone.
Yeah, got double-digit overtakes here, and, well, what could have been if Petty got a good qualifying? He hasn't had a good day in the office when it comes to doing the one-lap shootouts, but can Becca do this as well? And she starts to lift off before they get to Cops. So she knows that, yes, I can get the overspeed, but it's just too much too late and has to go for it as well. Petty's had a moment as well going through Cops. I think he was overspeeding and probably taking a bit too much speed on the exit there and trying to solidify this position so he can catch up to the top 5, because they won't be catching up to the top 3 right now. But ever since JDS was attacking Jake, he's not been close enough to attack again.
No, and the difference being, look, you give one go, and sometimes in a race of this caliber, of this quality here, Craig, one go is all you are going to have. It looks very clear in my mind here that James Barry's got enough pace to stave off Jack David Spickett. He's using Zach Leon Hardy very well. He's covering these lines as they go through. 0.2 of a second. Out wide goes Zach Leon Hardy. Now here comes the move to the inside, because Zach has a slowdown, and that's opened up the door. It's served at this point, but now James Barry, can he get the drive? Zach's a little bit better on the power. Now they've got to go to the outside to try and make this happen, but still there is going to be a case of trying to find the clearance needed. On that outside, searching still is Zach, and he sweeps for it. Tyre to tyre. There's a nudge, and a small nudge that says Zach back to second.
That slowdown was clinical. He had it at Stowe, and he tried to go as well. Hans Sommer has had a toe. That's a big crash. Andrew Petty's involved as well, and they were all battling as well. They were actually behind, and I think as well we've had somebody else crash in a different moment. As around the outside to defend goes Leon Hardy. He is trying to push. I was just saying, had the slowdown at Stowe, could not get it served until he came to Village. That's a lot of time he had to lose.
It is Andrew Petty out, Hans Sommer out. It was Sommer's moment then on his own. So there's the mistake, just too eager on the power. Becca just ultimately gets tipped up into the air there. Whoop. That's a big old hit. And then Andrew Petty basically trying to avoid on the inside, effectively rolls snake eyes and says there is nothing more that can be done in a position like that. So a real big shake-up out there as they go. It now means Benjamin David moves by Josephine Becca. That's a pass that puts David up into 6th. Zavala now up into 5th place. Will be very happy. Leaders now starting with 6 laps to go.
6 laps to go. I wonder if Josephine Becca just had a flashback to 2 hours ago, because she was starting strong in the warm-up race before this, and a spin coming around this corner, getting on the throttle, that same place they just had a moment, that cost her to spin it here, and she lost so many positions. She also got caught in a crash with everyone trying to avoid her, and this time, someone in front of her has to spin, and she gets caught out. But here comes the important mark right here, Jake. People have been saying to me, what happens if Jane gets past Zach? As we're going to go on board with Andrew, what happens when Andrew sees this? He does have triples. He's going to look for this. Oh, he's nowhere for him to go. He tried to pick the right moment, but he cannot see Hans Sommer in time because he's so busy making sure he can avoid the first car.
It's so difficult out there as a driver sometimes. You think you do everything right and suddenly the instant comes back to you. That's just a nightmare that you hope never happens. But 1, 2, and 3 together split a quarter of a second between each of them. Sommer immediately apologising over the in-text communications. But again, Barry is just the best through this section. Zach Leon Hardy now has to get on the noisy pedal, and I'm intrigued to know how quick he is with some slipstream here. And the answer is he's got next to nothing here on James Barry. He'll be relying on mistakes. He's very much in the downforce section, and he really had to chuck that in. He was right on the limit of grip there behind. Zach is trying to use up as much tyre as he possibly can, get as much out of the road.
Even with the slipstream, he was 1 kilometer an hour faster than James Barry. And that now just starts to show that these cars are running quite a lot of downforce, and James has been waiting for that opportunity to pounce. He knows he's had the overspeed, but he's not been able to use the overspeed to his advantage. And when that moment happened with Zach, he got by, and he got by at the most crucial point of the track, around 8 tree and into the Wellington Straight just here. I don't know if Zach's going to have the ability to do this, and if Zach doesn't have it, Jack's not going to have it, because they're probably running similar downforce packages right now, and this is what Zach's going to try and do, is use that downforce to his advantage. Look how close he got, attacking the start of Brooklands.
Yeah, he really wants this right now, does Zach. I think he's starting to show where the strength is going to lie right now in his Lotus 79. Pulls all the way to the right side. James Barry covers off the defence once more through Cops, and he's now going to have to extend out a little bit more, and you can't extend too many times out there to that level. This isn't NASCAR limits. You've got the track limits in force to say you can't do that as much as you are. Zach Leon Hardy here, it's all in his hands if he wants to go and get this one. And James Barry hasn't had a win yet this season. He will be desperate to be another name added to the list of drivers who have won one over the course of our running over this season too.
I mean, I think you have to say, I don't think he's actually ever had a win on broadcast. Like, you'll have to come back to me when it comes to look at the stats there. I'm pretty sure this might be his first time, and what a time to do it. Look at this battle. He's got the next man, and Zach had another slowdown, and this time he's just serving it now. So with Jack going faster right now, fastest lap for JDS, just over James Barry, now he has to be the aggressor with 4 to go. That's tough. That is really tough. If Zach can't do it, if Jack couldn't get past Zach, what hope has he got against Barry?
I think Zach is understanding that today is death by paper cut, and he's struggling. Becker has now rebounded, but has now seen Ilka Cotasalo go by for 8th place. She has Emerera now up into that 7th position, and this is going to be really tough because you look at Josephine Becker's car, there's damage to the front left, right by the nose there of that wing. So these wings aren't that, I would say, advanced out there. It's just one little bit of a plate which keeps the car down to the floor, and that damage is showing you all of the troubles out there of what Josephine is having to limp home with.
It's not just that, Jake. I see the skirt is also crumpled. It's not very easy to notice, but there's damage to that skirt. That's going to be affecting her downforce as well through the high-speed sections. Jack, what have you got? You're closing up, but again, you're only, what, 2-3 kilometers an hour faster, but that's only at the tippy top end here. You're not getting that. He's not getting the overspeed early on. There's that damage there. That's so minuscule, Jake, but that can cause so much issue to those Venturi tunnels that just the smallest of creases will just cut you down on downforce.
Oh, it absolutely will. And there's the difference as there goes through Pablo Paniagua to go to plus 11 on that pass. A simple move. It's a 10th almost in towards the village for your leaders on 3 laps to go. James Barry's having to take defensive lines out there at the front. And suddenly, this is Jack David Spickett just turning the screw and saying, I want this, and I want more than just wanting it. I need it here. Again, the gap, a 10th and a half, and still not enough to claw it back in.
Okay, Jake, you are used to what James does in a Radical. You are used to what a Radical does when it's in a slipstream package. And you know the mind games that the Radical drivers have to do sometimes. And that cost James a win this week. The question is, what does he do to shake Jack? Does he go into those tricks that he knows from the Radical? Does he even decide, okay, take the lead, I'm just going to get it back? It feels like to me that James's best attack here might be a concede. I know that sounds crazy, but I think he has to go into those bag of tricks from the Radicals.
I don't think he does. I think he's just got to drive the legs off of it, because Jack David Spickett can't make the move. So I would turn around and say absolutely the opposite of it as Josephine Becker lifts off with Peralta. And oh my goodness, Carlos Peralta has just pulled off a world-class move on Martin Reisman in towards turn 1. And I need a replay on it because it might be one of the great passes of this season, let alone this race, Craig.
It's around the outside of Cox for those that have not seen it. As once again, Jack Davis Pickett's going to get close up here. I'm sure Christian, when he gets a chance, will put a nice little picture-in-picture on that because we can't take our eyes away from this battle. Because these parts of the track, JDS is really working it, really putting the pressure, tightening the screw. Watch this. Watch this in picture-in-picture because he sold the dummy. He has to go around the outside. Oh, my word. That is a classic.
It's not just the fact that he's made the move, it's the fact that he's had to get by Josephine Becker first. That's told you all you need to know. Jack David Spickett here with a lap and a half, trying to figure something out here, but again, just can't get the angle. He's trying every which way to go and make something of James Barry, but every single time you start calling for it, it's not there. James is going to move across middle of the road. He's going to have to defend Cop's corner. Jack was never going to go for the pass here. He wants the exit. He wants the run to Maggots, and this is where he's going to start to play and pry on it here. To the outside again, it's no.
It's no, and I wonder if that was the last lap. Would Jack put his nose there? Would he actually ask the questions? But the problem is, not asking the questions right now, it's like basically telling your opponent, I've got pocket aces. Because you know he's got pocket aces. So what's he going to do? Is he going to try and make that move? He just doesn't have the ability right now. So he's probably just wasted. I'm not saying that in a bad way. He's probably shown off his best hand. And his best hand's not good enough. And again, just putting the dummies, and I think that's working. James a little bit flustered there coming through the Bell chicane. It's going to be a very interesting minute 45 to the end because JDS has got the run, but he just doesn't get it through Abbey.
Well, it's the question of, do I need it at Abbey or do I need it longer? Look at the way he pins it here at turn 1. Leon Hardy with the fastest lap. JDS to the inside. Oh, he's waited all race for that. But now here comes the look. He couldn't shut the door. James Barry back to the inside. He's going to get there, but there's an up and under now. Heading to Aintree Corner. They are going to duel on this straight. And watch Zach Leon Hardy now pull himself into a position where he wants in. Look at the draft. Look at the strength. Where are they going to start swarming around? And now to the outside. Here comes Zach Leon Hardy. Can he pick the pocket of the inside of one Mr. Jack David Spickett? Yes, he can. And he moves himself up into second, but they're going to be on a tightrope here off the exit. And JDS, I think, is going to have to realise he's now third best in this race. And James Barry needed that. He desperately wanted that as they work through. Zach might have just timed this one well, because if he gets a good run here, James Barry's under pressure as they head to Stowe Corner. Look at Zach Leon Hardy. It's like a revival. He has just turned up and said, look, you're not going to put me down. Not like this. Don't count me out of a race. But it's James Barry now desperately trying to shake that toe away along this hanger straight. down towards Stowe Corner. And for Zach Leon Hardy, I think he knows he needs a big old send coming up next into the Vale. Now he knows he's got one place left if he wants to chuck it. James Barry covers the line off on the inside. He's got enough of it now and just running himself through. There's going to be JDS stealing second. James Barry, his first in a 79, and that was well mastered.
Win number 3 for James Barry, and Zach Leon Hardy had his third slowdown at Stowe. He was pushing so hard, the understeer, the dirty air was just forcing him wide. What a battle all three of them did. James had to look behind for quite a lot of that lap, but he was able to just keep his composure and just hold on to it. Moreira is going to just come home into P8 there. What a run as well. Cotosalo, who in front of him, goes up 12 places today. Pablo up 11th. Carlos Peralta, he gets the double 7 there, Jake. He's up 14 today.
That's a lovely drive by Carlos Peralta as the final cars are going to make their way over to the line. Some will be happy, some will be frustrated, and none more so than the number 15 crossing the line, Craig, of Dennis Kyriakopoulos.
Well, that just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you've got the fuel in the tank.
Well, the fuel in the tank was there, and the big battle was Barry's out there. James Barry, a masterful battle out there as he takes the win by 4/10 over Jack David Spickett. Zach Leon Hardy ends up as the last car on the podium. Kartik Pai has a very respectable 4th ahead of Mikel Sabala and Benjamin David, with Ilka Cotosalo and M. Moreira 7th and 8th. You then got Pablo Paniagua 9th and Carlos Peralta plus 14. That is a lovely run.
Dennis, by the way, confirming wrong setup. Martin Reisman had the right setup and went up 7 places. And Josephine Becker had to limp home in 12th place after that incident. Josh Brain will be in 13th. And Barry West with a very respectable 14th today, picking up the pieces. Jason Clapper, well, he went on to the gravel at one stage. He finished 15th. Then Miguel Fachado will be in 16th. Dennis Kyriakopoulos will be 17th. Dylan Freckleton, 18th. Last man on the lead lap, as Mickey Friesen had to take repairs after lap 1 in 19th. Andrew Petty did come back out, finishing in 20th.
And then we go over the page once more, where you find that these drivers are retirees or further. Andrew Petty, Vincent Clovis, there with the likes of Adam Williams, Ross Banfield, and Carlos Lopez, all finding out how tough of a day this circuit can be. We are going to get this chance, though, to talk with some of our drivers. I think no better place to go than to James Barry. James, that's a huge result for you. You had to be absolutely switched on from corner 1 to corner last. No way they were going to let you get away with it. But ultimately for you, the chance came on a slowdown from Zach Leon Hardy.
Yeah, I figured because I saw how wide he went at Stowe. And he obviously, he was a bit slower out of turn 2, so I took my chance when it came. And yeah, I just had to work so hard for that. I mean, these guys, those two have been, in this kind of position doing these kind of races all season long, and I've been just a bit off these guys. So to finally be in with a shout against them and to finally then go and take the chance. And I mean, just such a tough race. I mean, Jack said at the end, he didn't want to risk it, but I mean, I was under so much pressure. I'm sure he would have gone past if he had a nice opportunity to. So yeah, just so happy to get a win.
Well, that happy victory, I think, is going to be huge out there. So as far as it goes with everything that's going on, that's finally the monkey off the back that you've got one in such a strong season out there. Now, how do you look around at this and say, right, one race in the season, can I get myself a rich vein of form moving towards season 3?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. These guys are so good. Those two and Audrius are just another level. So for me, this is probably my strongest track in iRacing, to be honest, or certainly one of the top 5 or so. So I don't know. Let's see if I can carry it on into other tracks. That's what I've been trying to do all season, and I've not been able to until now. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I should be back next season, and let's see.
Well, let's see indeed. James Barry, big result there, a win out there overall. Craig King has wandered down the paddock. He's found himself with Mikel Sabala.
Yeah, some man has deserved his bread today, and the car is number 21. It does not matter, as Michal Zabala What a result that is for you today on such a stacked field. You looked like you had a lot of defending to do at the back end of that race.
Yeah, it was very tough. I mean, just to hold up Benjamin David, he kept me honest there until the end. And we picked up a few positions there with some incidents ahead. We were like 5-6 seconds behind, so we were not going to get them, but I don't know what happened there, and just avoiding the shower of bouncy wheels into that slow section and gaining some good spots for a good finish.
The good result for you as well. And what can you do with this result in terms of taking it forward? Getting a P5 with the drivers in front, that has to be a confidence builder.
It is. I mean, I ran the Lotus 49, which is a different beast, and I struggled to get it to top 10. And it seems like the 79 is a bit more natural to me. Maybe not for a top 5 or a P5, but to be maybe for the top 10. And frankly, I like it. I like it more to drive. So maybe I make this my main series, and you know, maybe you see me here more often going forward.
Well, with that being said, next week it's Zolder. I know the 49ers have had some experience around there. I'm going to be guessing you're going to give that a go next week.
I will, but I mean, don't put too much pressure on me for another good result, because I'm going to be thinking of summer already and taking a few weeks off. But maybe yeah, we'll give it a go and see if we get a good hour of fun like today.
Well, hopefully we look forward to it. You like putting pressure on all the drivers. We wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't put the pressures on the drivers. Michal Zabala, congratulations on a P5 today. A great result for Michal there, Jake. And you've managed to walk yourself down the paddock some more. I'm not entirely sure. I think you found yourself a Barry West.
I have, Barry. Day to day for you, where you could say consistent result. Started 25th, up to 14th, a gain of 11. I'd say you've had a lovely way of gaining places today.
Well, yeah, seeing I messed the qualifying up, would have put me probably only about 6 places in front. So I thought I'll just sit back and watch the carnage that seems to happen here. And yeah, I'm just looking at the replay, and turn 1, I looked like Jason nearly took me out. He drifted wide and I was slow, and I was lucky to get away with that. But yeah, I had a good battle with Josh, but I was losing too much time, so I had to not put too much of a fight, but I was determined to try and keep Jason behind.
Well, that determination really set you up, I think, for what was a strong day at the office, the way that you gained those places, quietly going about business. One more race out there. What's the end goal for you? Looking to get another top 15? Or are you looking at eyeing up potentially a top 10 at the final round of the championship?
Yeah, I don't mind Zolder. Actually, I've been to the track. It's a lovely track. But yeah, see how it goes. Just a finish, really.
Well, let's hope that finish works for you. Ultimately, Barry West gaining a good run, then up to 14th position overall, which leads us to our final driver who didn't have the best day at the office. It's Craig King standing by with the Creator Series 500 champion, Andrew Petty.
Andrew, I've got your steering wheel here because you threw it on the track. I know there's a little bit of frustration there. You're having such a good race there, and then out of nowhere, you had to pick a lane, left or right, and neither side looked like it was safe haven for you.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I mean, I do want to say Han has apologized to me, so yeah. But I'm so gutted because I was eyeing up the P4, which I think would have been my best result in the broadcast for this series, and then there was always I could see up ahead, and I could see on the relative that James, Zach, and Jack were pushing each other really hard, and not that I would ever want them to crash into each other or anything like that, but seeing how close they run, there was that possibility. So if I was just thinking, just get fourth, because something might happen, and then there would be a potential of a win there. But sadly, not to be. But there's still a lot of positives from this race. Like I've never felt quicker in this car than I did today around here. Something about Silverstone. I absolutely love Silverstone. So this is just a really good combo for me, and I really enjoy it.
Well, let's take the confidence of Silverstone and let's look at the final race of the season. It's probably the first time you've done a full quota in the 79s, and Zolder's next week. Have you got any luck with that track?
I do actually really like Zolder, but unfortunately I won't be around next Sunday, sorry, for it. I mean, it's not confirmed. I might be, but I'm probably not, if I'm going to be honest. But I've definitely, even if I'm not able to, I've had such a good season in the broadcasts with this car. I feel like every season I get a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And this season, yeah, it's like I said, this race has been the fastest, but honestly, it's this whole season it's the fastest I've ever felt. So next season, I'm gonna. I don't want to sound too confident. I do want to try and push for podiums and see where we go from there, because I think it's my time. I think it's about time I stepped up in this car.
Well, I think that's Andrew Hurst Helmsley there, just at the end there. Andrew, commiserations. We look forward maybe to seeing you next week, but definitely for the rest of the season. And Jake, in this race, you have to finish to be on the top.
You do, and as far as that now set, they'll be looking at that final round of the championship at Zolder, which they'll be running the alternate layout out there, which will be a case of not needing to be as tight on the final chicane as you run through. You can catch that with us 4:30 UTC in 7 days time, so make sure that you're part with us of a Genesis Extreme production. As far as the rest of this run will go, as we near the end of the seasons, we've got the likes there of the Porsche's Owners Club, which will be jumping in from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We'll have the Skip Barber Race Series heading to the Red Bull Ring for Championship Thursday. The Grand Prix Tour will be over at Long Beach for their Monaco round, and then on top of that, the Grand Prix Legends will be having a supersized circuit at Monza with no chicanes and the banking. It's all the thrills and spills that you will need. From the entire team here today, from Craig King, from Christian Deploy and Dougie Beard, I'm Jake Sperry. Well, I think you have to earn victories out there, and nobody should be able to hand you a victory on a silver platter. Definitely a win that is hard-earned here out there compared to Jack David Spickett and Zach Leon Hardy. It proves you need to be one of the best thinking minds to go out there and win close quarters races. And the best at it at the moment is that guy, number 2, James Barry. Watch out.
This is iRacing.